When you get into the playoffs and start playing against good defenses, you still need to have the arm strength to attack down the field, even if you don't complete it, to credibly threaten the defense down the field.
Outside
and I think,
the numbers.
Yeah, outside the number. All that stuff I think matters, and that's why I would go with Brady. Even though he came off a not great season, I think I would feel more comfortable pairing Brady with some talented receivers. And I also think that if you're just saying who you'll have, if I can get Sean Payton and Drew Brees together, that's one thing. But getting Drew Brees just drop into a random situation, if the slate is blank and you can choose from either quarterback with the same situation, I feel like I'd be more comfortable with Brady because I believe that Brady still has that ability to throw the ball down the field and connect. Not like he used to be able to, but enough. And that scares me as a team going in, or as a defense playing against Brady. Having that threat scares me, and I think Brees not having that threat makes it so much more difficult to just kind of take small chunks and hope for a big play on a screen or something. Small chunks that you get to the end zone. That's hard to replicate time after time in big games. By
the eyeball test, Brady has a stronger arm than Brees right now. And I'm not saying that's not important. You need requisite arm strength to play in the NFL. I think Brees has requisite arm strength. So then once you have that, that's a prerequisite. You have to. But once you have that, it's the least important thing. The most important thing is leadership and reading defenses and how quickly you process information, et cetera. Accuracy is way before arm strength, or let's say before arm strength, if you have the requisite arm strength, which again, I think Brees has. QBR, Brees is almost 10 points ahead of Brady. That's a lot. By the way, yards per attempt, Brees is significantly ahead of Brady, about a yard per attempt. This touchdown to interception ratio, Brees is better. Every single by the way, game-winning drives. Brees has 11, Brady has 5 in game-winning drives. So that's not just about he has a better team around him. No, the teams have played about evenly, and Brees leads his team to victory. His expected completion percentage, Brees, is number 1 in the league. So you're trying to isolate for variables. Brady is 17th. Tight window throws, Brees is 1, Brady is 10th. Here's the thing about Drew Brees. He's still an elite quarterback. He's elite. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football. Guess what? Brady is not. He's not elite anymore. So they both have things to recommend them, and Brady has better arm strength. I'd rather have Brees.
D-Wood, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Brady, man. I think a couple things. I think, number one, from a physical standpoint, I think Brady is better physically than Drew Brees. Listen, I understand Drew Brees as far as completion percentage and some of the stats that Max threw out there is better, but I think some of those things are deceiving. Number one, I think that the fact that the New Orleans Saints has better personnel on offense than Tom Brady has had over the past couple years. Combine that with the system and where Drew Brees plays. Remember, he plays he plays 6 games or whatever it is in the NFC South indoors. I think 4 games with New Orleans and Atlanta. So that contributes a lot to his success as far as passing the football. But ultimately, the reason I choose Tom Brady over Drew Brees is in the critical situations when you need things to happen. To me, that's where Tom Brady shines. I mean, a couple years ago, NFC Championship game against the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff outplays Drew Brees down the stretch in the second half. Yep. We can all talk about the pass interference, and it was a blown call, but anybody watching that game, Jared Goff outplayed Drew Brees.
So
how many times have we just seen people just come in and just outplay Tom Brady in critical moments?
Let's talk about that.
It doesn't happen.
Well, let's talk about that. Several years ago, Brady early in his career, he was clutching everything, but he got a little extra bonus points. Basically, he had to get within field goal range, had the greatest field goal kicker ever kick a field goal. And usually the Super Bowl was decided by a field goal, a lot of those playoff games too. But then a funny thing happened. Brady actually developed into the clutch player everyone thought they were seeing originally. He became one of the all-time great clutch players any sport, had huge Super Bowls, the whole thing. AFC Championship game a couple years ago, he threw an interception to end the game. He was lucky he got a whistle that brought it back. He threw an interception to end the AFC Championship game. Pre-snap penalty, brought it back, got lucky. Then he balled, by the way. Give him credit, but that's what happened.
Right.
The next year, he won the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time, built behind a team built on the defense and the running game. And this year, the AFC East ticked up this much, just ticked up a little bit. And what happened? Last game of the season, He lost to Ryan Fitzpatrick in a must-win game, so he didn't have a bye and lost in the
God.
first round of the playoffs.
Max, let me ask you a question. What happened to Drew Brees with the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins? Did Kirk Cousins outplay Drew Brees in that game?
I mean, I think this is a waste of time. Like, neither of you are willing. Are you willing to say, Max, that Drew Brees or that Tom Brady is not clutch? Like, you're not making an argument that he's not clutch.
No.
Just like D Wood wouldn't make the argument that Brees is not clutch. Arguing over whether they're clutch or not, to me, seems like who's more clutch seems like nonsense. It comes down to what happens on the field and what they have around them. I think that you can excuse away a lot of what Brady's problems were last year with the things that he had around him. He will not be peak Brady, but I think in a good situation, we saw what he looked like in a good situation when they had AB. You put him with a talented player, someone who can tilt the defense, I think he can be great. I think the same thing is true for Drew Brees. You put him in a situation with talent around him, he can be great. But the difference to me is what you're asking for Drew Brees to do is be meticulous throughout the course of the game and not make any mistakes at any point. That's a big ask to do throughout the course of the playoffs because of his issues with arm strength. Because Brady has the
so boil it down to that, Dominique.
I think that's what I'm boiling it down to.
So let me ask you something.
I'm boiling it down
to.
So
are you saying, all things being equal, and I would actually say Brady's has been a more clutch player than Brees throughout their career. It's not a knock against Brees. It's not a knock against Brees. You're saying arm strength is more important than accuracy? Drew Brees is the most accurate quarterback in football.
Hold on 1 second, Nick.
So you're saying, I'm going to tell you that his accuracy is not good?
Max, I'm going to tell you this, Max.
Yeah, I am arguing Brady's accuracy isn't good right now. Yeah.
I think, listen, when you get to the playoffs, it is hard to put together 10, 12 play drives. You need explosive plays. What you see from Drew Brees, yes, he is very accurate. Yards after catch come into play with Drew Brees as well. What myself and Dominique are talking about, Tom Brady can actually stretch the field, like throwing passes down the field.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.